Hey friends, we're back to finish up session one, and where I am coming from is the If Local in Littleton with Fathom Church. Hello, ladies. And we actually are finishing up session one on Saturday morning, and it has been phenomenal. Rebekah Lyons had shared today that basically that living in the suffering with each other is what gets us through. And Catherine was one of the speakers, and she had discussed how important it was to be able to be with each other during our suffering. So for example, when she said that there was a moment in her life that she was afraid to grieve. She had a brain stem injury, and she had lost everything. And her thoughts were, well, who's going to catch me if I start grieving? And so I ask you, have you ever been in a place in your life that you just found yourself just at rock bottom, but you were afraid to extend for help and to grieve, and you just wanted to put one of those masks on and say everything's fine? And so when she did get to a point where she was just at her rock bottom, she felt the Lord just say, this isn't a drill, like this is real life, and I'm here, and I'm going to catch you. And she was just at a place of like, didn't you make a mistake? I should have died, and you should have brought another woman that could love my husband the way that he deserves to be loved, or bring another mother into my son's life to be able to provide a healthy, full, complete mom. But that was not his story. And so his story was to draw her near during this incredible injury. And I just looked at Catherine and I just thought, you know what, Lord, you haven't taken that from me. There are things that you have not filled in my life yet, and it's for you to fill those places. And it was such a important moment for me to see that if I am courageous enough to grieve things in my life that I feel like I am at rock bottom, then I can welcome people in to be with me and to go through it with me. And that has happened in the restoration of my marriage and the healing of my past. Like, people have been there to embrace my suffering with me. And so now I'm able to embrace their suffering and go through it with them. And all because of Jesus and in his name, that we don't draw strength from ourselves, but we draw it from him. And he gives us community. He gives us fellowship to be able to feel him in the flesh, to go through our suffering. So I encourage you today, if you are at rock bottom and you're saying, why me? And I just want to end it all, just know that, like Catherine says, this is not a drill, this is the real deal, and I'm drawing you closer to me. Grieve out loud so I can bring those people to you so that you can suffer well together, and so that you can go suffer with others and help them heal as well. It was a powerful moment for me, and it was great affirmation. And then we had Lauren Chandler and Bianca, and of course Bianca is like so inspirational always. She's such an incredible motivational speaker, but more so, I wouldn't put that label on her, but more so of just the word of God just pours out of her soul. And her Puerto Rican accent is great, I just want to say. But the point of her message that God had laid on her heart was essentially that when Lazarus was sick and Mary and Martha were like, come save my brother, he stayed put for like 2 days, and basically he got worse and then died. And then 4 days later, he finally came to be with Lazarus, and Mary was notably upset, like, you could have saved my brother, like, what happened? And he's like, well, do you believe? And she's like, I do believe. And so she challenged us today to think about, if there's, like, for example, Lazarus was in the tomb, buried, dead for 4 days. Do we have anything, any hopes or dreams that we have buried? Lord, I was supposed to be blank, or I was supposed to be married. I was supposed to have kids by now. I was supposed to have this career. Whatever it is, have you buried that? And is it in a tomb? And is it dead? Or are you allowing God to call that buried dream to come out? Are you allowing him to call it out and to bring it back to life like he did to Lazarus? And even if he doesn't answer that specific dream, he is calling out to you saying, come out. And so I just embrace that message, and she challenged us to like fill in the blank. So I did. I filled in the blank of some things that are in my life that are challenges right now that I just kind of resigned that that's just the way it is. But God breathed new life into it, and I'm calling it out with Him. And then last, we had Shelly Giglio so far. This is session 2. We actually started session 2. And Shelly really was I'm using the word really a lot, sorry, was a inspiration in the way of how Mary had like 7 demons within her, Mary Magdalene, and Jesus had healed her. And then when Jesus reappeared and he was resurrected, she didn't recognize him because he looked like a gardener to her. But then when he called her name, that is when she recognized him. And she asked us, is Jesus close to you, such as us gathering together at is he close to you, but are you not recognizing him? And are you hearing him? And do we only hear him when he calls out our name? And so she challenged us to be able to hear him, hear his call. He called her to go and tell people about his resurrection. And so she told us, like, you go and tell. That's your story. Go and tell what has happened to you and your experiences and how he has pulled you through. And now you go and tell about Jesus. We are all commissioned to tell about Jesus. We were all called to talk about our stories. And so she just affirmed that, like, don't doubt your life. Don't doubt how your life has played out, but just go and tell. And that is bringing the kingdom closer. And that is making heaven more crowded. So I'm looking forward to the rest of the speakers today, and I'll come back to you soon. Bye.